thanks, Sam, for joining us here.
You bet.
You are just a guy who I look up to for a lot of reasons. Hopefully, that's not too much of a load to carry, a burden.
Not yet. We'll see how
Let's
this
see
conversation
if it
goes.
gets creepy or not. I don't think
Yeah,
we'll get
yeah.
creepy fangirl here, but a lot of respect. Just because you're doing a lot of different things. You're entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, keynote speaker, author, thought leader. I mean, whatever. You're probably a social media expert, even though you probably wouldn't say that term. But since
Sure,
everybody else
right.
is, you're probably one too. I would just be intrigued to hear a little bit more. I mean, I know some of your story, but your story of kind of when did you decide? Was there this light bulb moment, or is it the natural progression of this is the kind of life I want to lead? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, no, it was not planned. And what I mean by that is I went to college and I studied history, which qualifies you, I think, to be like a really good barista. And I didn't want to do that. But yeah, I studied history because I thought I might go to grad school. Ended up starting there, but wasn't sure still what I wanted to do long
Yeah.
term. Moved back home to Nashville where I grew up, got married, needed a job. I worked in a hotel for 2 years just because again I needed something to do to earn money.
Yeah.
And while there, I really got a crash course, I think, in business because I didn't take any classes like that in college and again didn't really see myself doing that when I was a student. But really wanted the whole time I was in the hotel world, wanted to work for a nonprofit so I could feel like my day meant something.
Hmm.
And really it took about 2 years before I was able to land a job there. And once I did, it felt great and I enjoyed what I was doing. I got to work with a lot of teenagers teaching leadership programming. And while there, I met a friend of mine, Stephen Mosley, and we came up with a concept for Cool People Care back in 2006, almost 10 years ago. And it was something that we said, hey, here's a great idea, something we like. Nobody's doing this that we can see. Maybe we should do it. But
Hmm.
we kept our day jobs and kept plugging away at the nonprofit where we were, but yeah, sort of became entrepreneurs by default.
Hmm.
And once I really got into that world to see what it's like to take an idea, turn it to reality, and then have to rely on yourself, your team, your co-founder, your people you put it together to grow it. It
Hmm.
was something that really felt like a fit. It felt like this was something I was meant to do and was supposed to do, not
Hmm.
just that particular company, but really this journey.
Hmm.
And since then, I've started three other companies, and which I have varying levels of involvement in. But yeah, that world, which is most officially called entrepreneurship, but is really this notion of taking an idea and putting a structure around it so it becomes a reality that other
Hmm.
people can experience. And that
Hmm.
doesn't have to happen in just a pure for-profit business setting, but it's where I think I thrive the most.
Yeah. What what traits do you see? I mean, in yourself or maybe in other successful entrepreneurs that it's like, is there a certain set of that? I mean, I know we're kind of always looking for that secret. What is that secret mix? But what do you see that was inside you or other people that are doing it right that you kind yeah, you kind of have some of these things and that'll help you through.
I think number one, you've got to have this notion of perseverance. I've heard it called grit, which I
Yeah.
also like that term.
Yeah.
But this idea that when things don't go out like a rocket ship, when you don't go from zero to $1 million, $1 million, 1 million miles an hour, 1 million followers, whatever
Hmm.
million means to you, in a week as quickly as you want to, will you stick with it? And that can allow you to do something that, again, a very popular term in the startup, in the entrepreneurship world, is this term pivot. And so that perseverance can sometimes allow you to pivot and say, okay, this was my idea, but you know what? There's some more success to be had over here. So let me be willing, flexible enough to pivot, to turn, to change my idea, my model, to
Hmm.
go chase that. And so sometimes that can mean early mornings and late nights. Sometimes it can mean making one more sales call when you don't feel like it. Sometimes it can mean asking for permission or forgiveness or both. But whatever it is, coming up against that obstacle and saying, I'm going to go through this, around this, under, over it, so
Hmm.
that I can get to where I want to go. I think
Hmm.
that's really what it takes to be an entrepreneur, in addition to a lot of the other business insights, acumen, skills, which can be learned. And I think the perseverance piece, you've got to have that inside of you. You've got to have it. And if you don't, you may not be cut out for it.